Hello friends. Julia, radiant in her wedding dress, was supposed to walk down the aisle. Instead, she lay motionless in the coffin, her dreams of a future with him shattered. The room was filled with tears as friends and relatives gathered not to celebrate, but to grieve. But then something unusual happened. A wolf burst into the room, his presence startled everyone. It was Charlie, the wolf that Julia had saved many years ago. He grew into a majestic being, but his bond with Julia never faded. Without hesitation, Charlie jumped into the coffin, refusing to leave Julia. John, devastated and confused, tried to persuade him to leave, but Charlie wouldn't budge. His behavior was strange, almost desperate, as if he knew something that no one else knew. John's mind went back to the day Julia found Charlie. She was walking through the forest, a place she loved for its peace and quiet. The noise of the city and stress often aggravated her epilepsy, but the forest was her refuge. That day, she heard a faint sob and discovered a tiny, helpless wolf cub. Julia's heart melted, and despite the risk, she brought him home, naming him Charlie. She knew she couldn't keep him forever, so she entrusted him to the wildlife sanctuary, where she visited him regularly. Over time, Julia and John became close due to their shared love of Charlie and nature. Their bond deepened, and when John proposed, Julia agreed without hesitation. But now, as John stood by her coffin, his world felt like it was crumbling. Charlie's refusal to leave Julia annoyed him. Something was wrong. He sought medical help, insisting on Julia's re-examination. The doctors, although skeptical, agreed. What they found was nothing short of a miracle. Julia wasn't dead, she had fallen into a state of catalepsy, a rare condition that mimics death. Her breathing was so shallow and her heartbeat so weak that she was mistaken for the deceased. Charlie, with his keen senses, sensed the truth. Doctors rushed Julia to the hospital, where they worked tirelessly to resuscitate her. A few hours later, she opened her eyes, disoriented but alive. When John explained what had happened, Julia began to cry, shocked to realize that Charlie had saved her life. A few weeks later, Julia and John finally got married. Charlie, the guest of honor, sat proudly next to them, a living reminder of the bond between humans and animals.